Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's Greg the Motivator coming to today's daily content, and today is a fun one. Today I'm talking about something that majority of people in this world cannot stand, my old self included. That one thing is change. Now, I know what you're thinking. Change, that sucks. But hear me out, okay? Now, change is very uncomfortable. I agree with that. But from the standpoint of it's because we can't control it. You know, the things that happen around us, things change, people change, subjects change, different things around us change. So that forces us to have to do something differently, and that makes us uncomfortable. Like, why do I have to do something differently just because something else that I wasn't able to control changes? And it makes it very uncomfortable because people like to be in control. People like to see what's going on, and people like to be able to project where they're going. And when things change, it gets very uncomfortable. And so I challenge you to control the change. Now, by that, I'm not saying that we can control the weather, we can control death, or, we can control big things like that, the government, everything. Everything, but we can't control that. So don't mistake me for that. But what I am challenging you to do is control the change in yourself. First and foremost, don't be as reactive to all the changes out there. But if you control the change in here and you change for the better and you change the way that you want to, you'll see change a lot differently. You'll be able to put out that change to make yourself a better person, as well as make the people around you see you differently, but make you a better person as well by them seeing that, and hopefully make themselves better. That's one of the reasons why I do these video blogs and I do my daily content, whether no people see them or 100 million people see them. It doesn't matter to me, but I know that I've changed myself, and I want to help other people change too. Even if, it doesn't get you $100 million because you change just a little bit. As long as you can understand the concepts and you can help yourself, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you help yourself. And sometimes it's difficult to do, but the reality of it starts in here. It starts in here and it starts in here. We have to be the masters of our own fate. We can do whatever we want in this life if we put the right amount of effort and work into it. But being afraid of change will not help that whatsoever. So let me give you an example about something that is very simple to change, but it's very uncomfortable to do. Okay, so everyone gets the same 24 hours in a day. That's a fact. That's never going to change until, unfortunately, the day you die, and then you don't have any more 24 hours. But every single person gets 24 hours. That doesn't change for you or for me, right? No matter how much we think that it will or it should, it doesn't change. So in that 24-hour period, say you work an 8-hour day, okay? So now you're down to 16 hours in that 24-hour period. Okay, so now you say you sleep for another 8 hours. All right, so now you're down from 16 to 8 hours in a day. So outside of sleep and outside of work, you have 8 hours to do what you deem necessary. Okay, so let's think about it logically. Call it half-hour commute to work, half-hour commute back. That's an hour, down to 7. Call it eating, right? You might eat one meal at work, so we won't count that one. So count 2 meals. Call it breakfast and dinner, right? Say between actually prepping the meal and then eating the meal and then doing the dishes, it takes about all of an hour for food, right? So that's 2 meals, so that's 2 hours. So now we're down from 7 to 5, okay? So we have 5 hours to do whatever it is that we want. All right, well, you want to think about it really logically: getting ready for work, taking a shower, reading, watching TV, playing video games, spending time with family. Depends on your situation, really. It depends on if you have a family, kids, spouse, single, whatever it is. Those last 5 hours can kind of get pretty narrow based on who you are and what you have going on, absolutely. But my point is that we need to make the most of those 5 hours. And so that's what most people assume is what I'm going to talk about, is making the most of that 5 hours, making sure that maybe rather than watching TV, we're not, and then we do this over here, and that's more productive. That is good advice. TV's TV is definitely distracting. We'll put it that way. But that's not what I'm talking about. I think the easiest thing to do is to give yourself more time. What? How, Greg? How can I do that? How can I give myself more time if I only have the same 24 hours? Well, the reality of it is, it's probably the most uncomfortable thing for someone to do because they think that it's impossible. I think that it's very difficult. So because it's so hard, they shy away from it in the first place, is to get less sleep. Now, I can understand how some people feel about that. But the reality of it is like, you won't know until you try it. And once you try it, you'll get hooked. Right? I'm not saying on sleeping less, but I'm saying on the extra time you put into your day, and especially if that extra time is solely productive, like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. So every single person is different, all right? Now with their sleep, every person is different, but some people will sit there and say, oh no, I need 8 hours of sleep in order to function. Well, have you tried to actually function on 7 hours of sleep? Oh, well, yeah, I slept 7 hours, yesterday, and now I'm super tired today. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about getting one day worth of 7 hours of sleep. I'm talking about doing it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, doing it for 2 months, right? And getting 7 hours of sleep each day. Okay? Now, I can guarantee you your body's going to learn how to function on 7 hours of sleep. I know for a fact because mine did. Now, some people may be different, but because we know that that extra hours of sleep is going to make us tired the first day or the first couple of days or first week or first 2 weeks, we don't want that uncomfortability. We don't want to change ourselves because it's going to make us uncomfortable. And that's where a lot of people lack in this world because they don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to change. And that's something that I did for the longest time. Don't get me wrong, guys. I did it for 25 and a half years of my life. I hated being uncomfortable. And so I never changed who I was, how I was, what I looked like, what I ate. It just wasn't for me because I liked being comfortable. But get uncomfortable. Make changes, control the change in you. And I'll tell you this much, if you can make that extra hour that you don't sleep a night, and you make that extra hour your most productive hour of your day, you'll never sleep 8 hours again in your entire life. You'll only get 7 hours of sleep. I just went from 7 hours of sleep to 6 hours of sleep because I only needed 7 to function. But looking at my day and looking at what I had to do, the only free time that I had was a single hour in my day outside of the gym, outside of food, outside of work, outside of commute time, outside of meal prep time, outside of reading, outside of meditating. But that hour I call as free time is right now while I'm making these videos, while I'm on Instagram and I'm on Twitter and I'm on YouTube trying to reach more people, trying to get what I'm saying out to the world. So it may be what I call free time, but that free time is scheduled something. So I only had an hour every single day to do this kind of stuff, which is something that I love to do, and that's why I do it on a daily basis. So I knew that I needed to have an extra hour in my day, maybe for actual free time, but I needed to actually be productive. And having this extra productivity gives me more time to actually write down what I want to say to you guys and do research and listen to other motivational videos and try and better myself. So it's not just free time, it's me working on myself time. And I'll never go back to sleeping 7 hours a day. I can tell you that right now. And I'm tired right now. I'm absolutely tired right now. I've only been down to 6 hours of sleep for the past 3 days. So my body's still getting used to it, my mind's still getting used to it, but I am so excited that I have that extra hour in my day to better myself, that change is well worth any uncomfortability I would ever have. Hands down. And I want you guys to feel that way too. I want you guys to have that control over your changes, to change it to work for you and what you want and how to better yourself. Control the change because there's no other way to do it and make it work for you. You just let change happen, you're going to be behind the eight ball on that. Control the change. You make the change happen, period. And it's going to change your life. So push yourself beyond whatever limitations you've given yourself. Control the change and change your life. Love you guys.